Amiben Yagnik, when it comes down to number one of using it as a political moment, why not? It is politics. It's happened under the watch of the Prime Minister. Why not? Shouldn't the BJP milk it politically if it can? You've done it on your own accord, where you keep talking about the RTI, you keep talking about the other achievements of, the UPA government.
No. See, this, if you want to put it as an achievement in the Honorable Prime Minister's kitty, I think nobody should have any issue. But you should not forget that we have to understand what is India and talk about the weaker sections. We have to look at the journey of how the bill has translated into action and how many women have been empowered at the grassroots level and how are they taking decisions, and this kind of flinging all kinds of excuses that why did you not do it in the Lok Sabha? Why did you do it at that time? At that time, you should have seen in 2010 in the Rajya Sabha, and who were the leaders when it got passed, who were celebrating all of them across party lines. Today is not a time to talk about parties and one person did it or two persons did it. Every woman has to be there in this celebration, that she's going to get a chance, and that way she'll be able to sit with other people or other men as a real voice and take decisions in the committees or wherever she's sitting, and she will be politically empowered. You should not forget that. There has been social welfare schemes the current dispensation is talking about. But these social welfare schemes have done a lot for women. But that is not political empowerment. That is social empowerment. We are talking of political empowerment, and you have to give it to them, not with caveats. We will do the caste census after so many years, and we will then have a delimitation. What has that to do? You give it right away. Then we can see
Charu
what is the objective.
I'll come back to it. How do you do it earlier and not follow a set protocol? You know, one might say it's simple, but it's been happening at the panchayat level. It's been happening at the municipal bodies level. You know, in technicality, Charu Pragya, all it will take is to update the voters list. And that could be your benchmark on which you give reservation, Charu Pragya.
So, Preeti, now SC/ST reservation did not start just now. It started long back, and even that is given on the basis of the census.
Let's talk about the panchayat and the municipal bodies reservation. That has happened recently.
But even that is rotational, Preeti. Are you trying to tell me that arbitrary decisions can be taken? Will Mr. Gandhi
that happened on the basis. Charu Pragya, ma'am, that happened on the basis of on the voters list. That's all you need. Update the voters list. You'll have an idea.
So it is amusing to me, Preeti, that you imagine that you know better methods of working through this.
Madam, I don't. I'm just giving you the premise on which panchayat and municipal bodies have sought reservation, and it seems, at least technically, that it can happen. That's all I'm saying.
And technically, I'm asking you again, who's going to take the decision? Is that decision going to be taken by you and me, or that decision is going to be taken by the government or by the Delimitation Commission? Exactly. So there is a process to it. Now you are coming back to what I was saying. So whether it is the Delimitation Commission...
No, but ma'am, I'm not saying. I'm saying the Election Commission can take that decision without resorting to a census and a delimitation. You can do it on the basis of the voters list. Update it.
Voters list is getting updated, Preeti. But I think, really you are getting to a point where you're refusing to understand when we don't know how many women there are. And when we are planning on doing this on the basis of picking the seats in a constitutional manner, I don't know where the discrepancy is. I really don't. And for everyone from the other parties who are repeatedly saying the caste census will happen, tell me when in this country a caste census has happened. The crux of our government has always been Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Tell me for what yojana you've ever had to tell your caste, or anybody in this country has had to go and tell their caste or their religion. So if it has never happened, you want to bring in divisiveness into politics. Now that is
okay. One second, but Charu Pragya, as I bring in Amiben Yagnik, the sheer fact is, on the basis of the 2011 census, every scheme in this country is built on the basis of caste. So if you want to go and be a beneficiary of that scheme, madam, one second. Believe me, we might want to live in a utopian world where we say caste doesn't matter, but each and every person would have to go and prove he's Dalit if he wants to partake of that scheme. So yes, caste matters. It doesn't matter to the people who stand on the favorable divide of that caste line. But having said that, Amiben Yagnik, I'm going to pull you in. One point that Charu Pragya has made, and it's very clear, How is it that the Congress, if you're talking about the caste census and to bring in the women reservation card in that, the Congress till 10 years ago was against the caste census. Today, you see political opportunity and you flipped.
No. I think there is no political opportunity in this. I think if the other...
Ms. Yagnik, do you agree?
No.
Do you agree you are against the caste census?
No, 1 minute. There is a 2011 census which is not being published. Why is not the 2011 census getting published? If you publish that, and if the Congress has been asking for inclusiveness of caste census, what is wrong in that, and why have you to pick on Congress? Today we are talking of women reservation. If you do not want the women of the weaker section to come to the fore, then what is the purpose of having women reservation? Why don't you want to empower women? It's another thing that the Honorable Prime Minister is keeping quiet on Manipur violence. Women facing violence in Manipur, not a word. Not a single women minister sitting in the central union government has spoken.
But Amiben Yagnik, that question will be asked. The Congress has changed its stand where the caste census comes into question in the last 10 years alone. But having said that, Charu Pragya, you wanted to make a point, come in and then we'll cut across back to Ms. Yagnik.
Yes, thank you. Which policy of my government is based on caste? You made a blanket statement, Preeti, and I need you to back it up.
Madam, every policy that has been made in terms of reservation. Ma'am, okay, 1 second. In terms of reservation in this country, if we have gone for reservation, it happens on the basis of caste, ma'am. On what basis does it happen off?
And when did a caste census ever happen in this country, Preeti? Has it ever happened?
2011, you had a census, right?
Caste census is same as a census to you, Preeti?
Where do you think we've derived the information from?
So are you maybe
on what basis have we given reservation? But it's not an argument between you and I. Would you want to quickly answer? I'll go back to Ms. Yagnik then.
Yes. What's your question? What would you like me to answer?
Madam, I thought you wanted to interject, Ms. Yagnik.
Yeah,
do you want to?
Yes, I do. And
Please
I'll begin by telling you that my government's position to the Supreme Court in 2023 has been very clear. We have stated to the Supreme Court that we are a government which is going to work for the welfare of the nation as a whole and not divided into caste and other segments based on religion. Now to respond to the Congress spokesperson, she's saying that Prime Minister Modi is not concerned about women, but madam, apparently your party is very concerned. You talk about giving 40% seats to women in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and you have a beautiful slogan which says "Ladki hu, lad sakti hu." I love that slogan, but that slogan is not activated in the state of Punjab or in Goa or in Himachal or in Karnataka. So much so that even after you win the elections in Karnataka and in Himachal Pradesh, and when you make your Mantri Mandal ka list, you can make just one woman a minister in the state of Karnataka. So what is your position, ma'am, on women empowerment? And frankly, it is very hollow.
Amiben Yagnik, I want to bring you in because that's a relative point that Charu Pragya raises. You gave reservation in a state where you had no stake. In a state like Karnataka, where you were stakeholders and you had a shot of winning, how much did you give in terms of representation to women? Hypocrisy, Ms. Yagnik?
No, it's not hypocrisy, and this is not a tutu meme debate, and I don't have to answer to the spokesperson of the other party. Let me make myself very clear. At least you try to give 40% seats in any state. Do it in Gujarat. No, do it in Gujarat. Instead of saying that you gave it, at least we gave it in UP. The AICC General Secretary. No, I think you should stop interfering, otherwise I may leave.
All right, ma'am, you got... Okay. Charu Pragya, let's not interrupt. You got fair time, no? Allow the same to your panelist. Go ahead, Ms. Yagnik, make your point.
All India Congress Committee's General Secretary Priyanka ji gave 40% seats to women. Ladki hu, lad sakti hu. At least do that. First of all, at least do that in one of the states. Do it in Gujarat, because this is the place where you come running all the time. And let Gujarat set an example. But you did not. And at least those 40% women who got tickets learned that there is a space in political area, in public life, that we can go and contribute. They came to know about it.
But Ms. Yagnik, that those 40% women, why should only those women in UP be the ones who are invoked with the feeling of equal partnership? Didn't the women in Karnataka deserve the same?